first of all, you might be saying, how does this have anything to do with breath work? I'll get into that in a different video. It does. All of this has, like, the fact that we've overlooked this in the breathwork world is incredible. Now, this was published on August the 9th. I just found out about it today. Today's August the 14th. The headline reads, "Study finds no evidence linking social media's platform." They're talking about Facebook. They found no evidence linking social media's platform's penetration and psychological harm. They even go on to say that they found evidence that it helped people improve their psychology and their mental well-being. Now, the first thing I thought of was all of the science that came out, the so-called science that came out in the early 1900s, that was funded by the tobacco companies saying, hey, look, we found no evidence to believe that smoking causes lung cancer or causes any harm. And we have all these doctors, look at all these doctors, they're smoking. And, Dr. Samsung, what's your favorite cigarette? And they have, I smoke Camels every day. There is no end to the amount of science that has been bought and paid for. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is ultimately, this is a fantastic opportunity to engage the unconscious you. The unconscious you, just like the unconscious me, made some snap decisions on whether or not what we just heard is believable. Okay? Now, if you've been following my channel, if you continue to follow me, you're going to find out a lot about the conscious and the unconscious. This is the bedrock of the language of breath philosophy. So our unconscious self, there's a very good book called Thinking Fast and Slow. There is the concept of all you see is all there is. And what that means is basically that our brains are very bad at doing statistical analysis. If we ask ourselves, hey, how likely is it to die in a car accident? Or how likely is it to die by shark bite or whatever? When we ask ourselves, the unconscious you doesn't actually do any statistical analysis. What it does is it answers another question. It answers the question, well, how easy is it for me to think of instances where this sort of thing has happened? And when it comes to social media, I think we all know instances where a person has lost friends, they've alienated loved ones, they've gotten, how many times have you gotten into an internet argument and it's dominated your thoughts all day, and all day you're checking it again, and maybe it even goes on for a week, and nothing ever really comes from these things. It's not like, I changed the world because I had an internet argument, but it dominates our thoughts. We all have had this happen. That's what the unconscious you is going to do. It's going to think about that first, and it's going to go to those answers. And it's going to say, well, Facebook is obviously causing all kinds of problems. Look at all these problems I can think of. Your unconscious is always looking for a way to find a simple solution or a simple scapegoat or a simple exit to complex problems. It's not looking for more complexity. It's trying to find simple. And it's doing this because of a few things. One, complex thinking is something you have to kick up to your conscious self. And your unconscious knows that's going to take a long time. It's going to be an expenditure of calories. And that's, those traditionally have not been in ample supply. Yes, in the modern world, we have plenty of calories, maybe not enough nutrition, but we have plenty of calories. And at the same time, it says it's going to cost a lot of time. And traditionally, that's not been something we've had a lot of supply of, because you can die in an instant, especially our ancient ancestors did. That part of you is not capable of critical thinking. I'm sorry. That's the part of you that jumps to conclusions. That's the part of you that, my gut tells me this. Now, it can be correct, right? It can totally be right, but it's not always right. Your gut is not always right. Your heart is not always telling you the truth. I'm so sorry to have to tell you this, right? But I think we all understand that the same heartfelt feelings that make us fall in love with the right someone is the same heartfelt feelings that can help a person fall in love with the wrong someone. Or the same heartfelt feelings of love for a child that can lead you to, protect that child, jump in front of a bus, do all of these incredible physical actions to protect the child. is the same heartfelt emotions that can make a person, punch a person in the face because they said something they didn't like. If you are interested in finding out more, I am happy to announce the release of my newest book, The Language of Breath. This is an advanced copy. The actual copies have not yet been printed. It will be on sale at your local bookstore anywhere in the world, October 24th. You can get it on Amazon, you can Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, anywhere you want to go. I'm hoping to see it in the airport when I fly. This book is a culmination of years of my own personal research and practice and decades of research that I've been able to use. I'm literally standing on the shoulders of giants as I bring this out to you. You're going to understand more about the language of breath philosophy of breathwork and self-awareness and how it is different from everything else out there. I started this channel a long time ago about Wim Hof method, and then I started learning more and more, and then I published my book, A Practical Guide to Breathwork, in 2020. And now I have something to say that is different from Wim Hof. It's different from Oxygen Advantage and all these other things that I still respect, but I do think we can take the next step. And I detail it in this book. It's there for you if you'd like to read it. It has a few dad jokes. I'm sorry. Maybe a few more than just a few dad jokes. When it comes down to it, the unconscious is going to discourage you from critical thinking, and it's going to encourage you to go with your gut. And the reality is that human beings have been a mess ever since human beings have been human beings. If we were to eliminate social media today and just make it go away, do you think it would somehow be like the end of our problems? Well, of course not, right? We know that we have been a mess ever since we've been humans. The reality is the problems that we face, no matter if they're present day problems, ancient problems, it's always far more complex than what we unconsciously want it to be. We want to find an easy scapegoat, and that is because our unconscious traditionally or instinctively does not want to take the time to do critical thinking. But it's important to do critical thinking. There's a lot of different factors that come into play when it comes to our mental health, when it comes to our physical health, when it comes to our society. And for us to, we have a tendency to want to say, well, I'll tell you what it is, it's this one thing. When in reality, we're far more complex than that. So those are my thoughts on this. I just wanted to get this out there. If you want to take a look at the article, take a look below. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of this channel. There's a train now in the background. Don't forget to go out there and be kind to one another.